Stalking Chronicles, part deuce. All right, so I uh, I end up I end up going to a place in Pendleton called a respite center, and calling a friend, and my friend came up and got me. And for the next few years, Brad Harlan and Amy Harlan were my close friends, and I escaped all the stalking, went to Idaho, lived with a woman named Kendra Cook and her daughter Araceli, and everything was fine there, and I had complete peace for 2 years. And then Barbara calls me up out of the blue and tells me to come see my son. I hadn't seen my kids in years. At this point, it's been 4 years. 4 years later, we're now 2013, and I didn't even think that it could be a setup. So I get up there, and next thing I know, the cops are looking for me to serve me with papers. Um, uh, she called me up to reconcile and be with my kids just to get a hold of me to divorce me and have this gang stalking thing carried out on me. So, what a bitch, huh? But, um, so Barbara Kessler uh, had made this lie up with Department of Human Services, where the CPS and the domestic violence people, and that's where a lot of gang stalking is. Your coordinated efforts. They are like advocates groups that are watching you. I know this because I'll tell you in another chronicle. But anyways, so I'm in Idaho for almost 2 years, and my ex-wife, or sorry, my I go to Idaho. Everything's fine. She calls me back up, tries to divorce me, and I take off. I end up going to my dad's house, where my daughter shows up, and then we start getting stalked. We get into a high-speed chase with Chevy Tahoes. Whisper Turner, Natasha, Jean Lester were both in the car. So these people can be questioned or gotten a hold of after my death, because this gang stalking is going to result in the loss of human life. So these people were in the car with me during the high-speed chase. My daughter gets me up and she says, "Dad, come here. There's something I got to show you." She says, "Was there always an X painted on that house?" So I go outside, and there's a house. There's our house, then there's an alleyway, then there's two more houses, then there's a street, and then there's a house on the kitty corner. That house was for sale for a long time, and this day I woke up, and the windows are covered with like paper bags and brown, like somebody's going to paint the house from the inside, right? But the house is surrounded by black Chevy Tahoes that are not marked. So I tell my daughter, get her friend, get in the car, we're taking off. So we do. Next thing you know, we're in a high-speed chase. They never turned on lights, but they gave chase all the way into Idaho. We broke speeds of over 140 miles per hour. Okay. It wasn't just the Chevy Tahoes. There was a group of people there. One person with a gold Trans Am I identified as somebody who lives in Nissa, Oregon. That's correct, Nissa, Oregon. So I try and track my perps and keep tabs on them, because you need to keep your enemies close to you. So we ended up packing my stuff up, and we moved to Portland, where it seemed to stop. I meet this woman named Josephine Harrelson, who turned into a handler, who our children were kidnapped from, and I believe that she got a hold of them behind my back and now has my children. So Josephine Harrelson. So I meet Josephine Harrelson on Plenty of Fish. She shows up. We end up going to North Dakota together. I leave my car at a friend's house. It gets stolen. We get pregnant. I come back. We split up. But while I'm in North Dakota, here's what happens. It's weird. So I'm sitting there. Well, I lost my food stamp card in Washington State. I get to North Dakota, and I get this hotel room, and I find my food stamp card glued underneath the air conditioner. So I brought it. I showed Josephine. I'm freaked out. I said, "We got to get the fuck out of here. This is creepy as fuck." So we take off, come back to Oregon, and then we split up. Okay, and she was pregnant. So, but the weird things that happen with Josephine the next time we encounter each other. That'll be part 2 or part 3.